Okay, students, so now we're going to look at the publisher window. In order to do that, we need to go to publisher. And I have publisher pinned in the taskbar, so I'm going to click there. We're going to start off by opening up a blank portrait orientation page, which is this one here, blank 8.5 by 11 inches. So I'm going to click there. And I get a blank page where we will create our layout. But first, before we do any layout creation, we're going to talk about the window. So all this area right here, all the way through here, it's the workspace. Up on the top, you have a ribbon, and the ribbon is divided by lines that are vertical, and those divisions are called groups. You'll notice that there's a clipboard group, font group, paragraph group, styles group, objects group, arrange group, and an editing group in the home ribbon. How do I know this is the home ribbon? I know because it's underlined. If you look over to the right of home, you have insert. If I click on insert, you'll notice that now insert is underlined, and you'll see that it's also divided into groups. You'll see that it has the pages group, tables, illustrations, building blocks, text, links, header and footer groups. You can go to any of these groups by clicking in the tabs right above the ribbon. So if I ask a student to go to the paragraph group, then a student would go and look around here and look for the button or command that I am suggesting, right? So be aware that there's groups in your ribbons. Over to the left side of your workspace, you'll notice that you have a page. This is the page navigation panel. If you noticed, there's only one page, but we can add more pages. We'll show you how to do that in later sessions. Over to the right side, you'll notice that you have a blue dotted line that goes around the inner part of the page. That is the margin line. Okay. You have boundaries that you can't see right now until you add an object. If I go over to the Draw Text Box button in the Objects group, and I click on Draw Text Box button, I can use my cursor or my pointer to create a text box. When I do that, you'll notice that I can type inside that text box, and I can set it up in my layout the way I want. I'm going to type my name in there. There's my name. Now what I'm going to do is click away, and you'll notice that it looks like the box is gone. But if I hover right over where the box was initially created, you'll see that there's dotted lines indicating the boundary of that text box. If I click away, you don't see it. But if I want to be able to view it, then of course I'll have to go to the View tab. It opens up the View ribbon. And if you look around the Show group, you'll notice that Boundaries is unchecked. So that means that if I click and check mark Boundaries, you will be able to see the dotted line, which is the boundary of that text box, which is invisible if you try to print it, of course. You can add an outline to it later on. We'll talk about that in a later session. But see, if I click away, you can see the boundaries. That is so that you know where you're placing your objects. Another thing that's very important in this work area is that whenever you place an object, you place it in a specific position in that page. So what does that mean? It means that the ruler that is here will let you know exactly where it is, where you placed it, if you look at the position button that's below. So I positioned that text box at 1.29 and 1.39 at the inch mark of the rulers, right? Because we're measuring in inches. So what that means is that if I move it, you'll notice that these numbers will move along with my text box. So they change. You see that? And these numbers are now different. So it allows you to know where you're positioning your text boxes. If I put it here, then the numbers change. Over here, to the right of the object position, you'll notice that you have object size. So my text box is 5 inches, 0.42, right? And 1.49 inches. So that's the width and the height. Over here, you have the position, right? The X and the Y, which means, the horizontal positioning and the vertical positioning. So what can I do here? Well, if I click on the object size or the object position, what's going to happen is it's going to show me this measurement box. And that measurement box gives me those dimensions, the size and the positioning of this text box. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in another session. So become familiar with everything that is part of the publisher window. Like I said, the groups in the ribbons, this is a whole ribbon across the top. The tabs, which open up the ribbons if you click on them, and the page navigation panel, which is over here. The status bar, which indicates what page you're on, the object position, and the object size. So we'll talk about objects as we continue this course. Also remember that you have a zoom slider right over here, which allows you to zoom in. By zooming in means that you're bringing the object closer to you. Nothing is scaling up or being created so that it's bigger. This is just your zoom in and your zoom out. So whenever you hit the plus here, it just brings your page closer so that you can look a little closer at your objects that are selected. Over here, you have the whole page button. If you click there, you'll notice that you can see the whole page again, even after you zoomed in. If you had 2 pages, then you would click on spread to see 2 pages at once. You only have 1 page, so we'll just leave it at single page for now, right here at the bottom. Okay, looks like that's going to be it